Hi, welcome to week 2 of our beginner series. So for this week, you'll need again a blanket, which I'm sitting on. And remember, that can be a towel or really any blanket. A couple of blocks will be helpful. And again, if you don't have blocks, a couple of thick books will work. And then we are going to use some space at the wall. So that could be a door jamb or a door itself, just something that you can put your hands on. All right, so let's find our comfortable seat. And remember, when we're sitting, it's usually or often a lot more comfortable if you're sitting up on something so that your hips have some height. So that's why I've got my blanket. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm sitting with my hips on the blanket, my legs in front of the blanket. And remember, you can sit with your knees crossed or straight out in front of you. And certainly, if sitting on the ground isn't going to ever feel comfortable for you, no matter how much height you have, then just go sit in a chair. All right, so sit up nice and tall. Lift your heart, roll your shoulders back. And then consciously release any effort in your legs or your pelvis so that you're surrendering the weight of your pelvis and your legs down into the support of the floor underneath you. From that base of support, again, reach up through the crown of your head, lift your heart. If it's natural for you, you can close your eyes or just let your gaze soften down to the mat. And to begin, just bring your awareness to your breath. Without needing to change your breath at all, just notice is it flowing in and out of your nose or is it flowing in and out of your mouth? Does your breath feel short and shallow or deep and full or just somewhere in between? There's no right or wrong answer to these questions. You're just allowing yourself to notice. And then see if you can follow your awareness of your breath even more deeply into your body and notice how your body is moving with your breath. Do you feel your chest or your belly rising and falling, or both? Do you feel the sides of your body moving? Do you even feel the breath in the back of your body? And again, there's no right or wrong answer. Just letting yourself get curious. How is your body moving with your breath? And then for the next few moments, let your breath gently begin to deepen. This doesn't need to be like a huff and puff kind of breath, but just a little bit deeper, a little bit more full breath, and notice if that changes what you're noticing. Does that change where your body is moving with your breath, or is the movement just a little bigger? Again, we're doing this without judgment so that we're practicing noticing what's going on with our body and letting whatever we're experiencing be correct for us in this moment. Once again, just acknowledge the power of the breath. A breath that literally sustains our life. Sanskrit for that is prana, or life force. And then also acknowledge that by bringing your awareness to your breath like we've been doing, it helps your mind, or it gives your mind something to focus on so that the breath anchors your thoughts and your mind here in the present moment. And so if at any point during practice you notice that your mind is starting to wander, just bring your attention and awareness back to your breath. Great. Bring your palms together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. Let your palms come together. Let your thumbs rest on your sternum. And then lift your heart up to meet your thumbs. You're sitting up nice and tall. And then take a moment to set an intention for your practice. Remember, to set an intention, all you need to do is ask yourself, what do I need from my yoga practice right now? Let go of what you think you should want from your practice And just let your body, let your mind tell you what it needs. And hold your intention in your heart. And then honor your intention by bowing your head to your heart. Lower your hands, lift your chin, and open your eyes. All right, let's come on up to standing. So stand up. You can slide your blanket off to the side. We'll be repeating some of the things that we did last week and adding on some new things. So stand in the middle of your mat and find your Tadasana. Remember that for the purposes of this class, Tadasana will be feet hip-width distance, so either 2 fist distance between your feet, or if you want more space and more stability, step your feet even wider. And then let's take a moment to just kind of shift our weight front to back or swing it around in circles, just noticing the weight transfer to the front and back and to the sides of our feet. And then slow your movement down, settling on a place right in the center where you've got just as much weight in the front as the back of your foot, just as much weight side to side. And then actively press down through your feet. Stand up tall, roll your shoulders back. Tadasana or mountain pose. Like we did last week, let's add some movement. So as you inhale, sweep your arms up. As you exhale, lower your arms back down. See if you can match your movement to the length of your breath. So you take your full breath to reach up, your full exhale to lower back down. Good. Let's do that a couple more times. Reach up. And lower. Twice more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower. Once more. Inhale, stretch up. And exhale, lower. Bring your palms to your chest. Follow your fingertips with your gaze. Sweep your right arm forward and then reach it back behind you for a twist. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, sweep your left arm back. Follow your left fingertips with your gaze. Inhale, forward. Keep moving like that at your own pace. Let's do one more time, both sides. And then once you finish, come back to center to your Tadasana. Again, press down into your feet. Find even weight through the fronts and backs, the sides of your feet. Stand up tall. Roll your shoulders back. Let your shoulders release away from your ears. Take your hands to your waist. Inhale, sweep your right arm up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, release your right arm. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, release your left arm. Again, inhale, sweep your right arm up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale to center. Exhale, release. Last one, inhale, reach your left arm up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale to center and exhale, release. All right, great. Like I said, we're going to use the wall. So you don't necessarily need your mat if you don't have room to slide your mat all the way up against the wall. If you're using, say, a door jamb or something, that's fine. Just stand in a place where you can place your right hand flat on the wall or your door at about your shoulder height. Then stand up tall, roll your shoulders back, keep pressing your right palm against the wall, and begin to turn away from the wall. Now, it's up to you how much you turn. Obviously, the more you turn away, you're probably feeling this, the more intense this stretch becomes. So find the depth of stretch or the intensity of stretch that your body needs. Good. Turn back to center. Let's do the left side. Stretch your left arm out to the left side. Press your left palm against the wall. Stand up tall. Roll your shoulders back and turn. And for some of us, you may not need to turn at all and you're getting enough of a stretch through your the front of your left shoulder. That's great too. Great, turn back to center. Let's do the first side again, I should say, and add on or make a little bit of a change. So take your right palm to the wall, then turn your right palm to the sky so that your right palm faces up and your pinky finger side of your right hand presses against the wall. Stand up tall, roll your shoulders back, and turn. And breathe here. Turn back to the wall. Stretch your left arm out to the left side. Start with your palm pressing against the wall and then turn your left palm to the sky so that your pinky finger side of your left hand presses against the wall. Then stand up tall, roll your shoulders back, and turn. Good. Turn back to the wall. Shake your arms out. Okay, stand so that your left side is close to the wall. Give a few inches of space between your left side and the wall. Then bring your right hand to your right hip and reach your left arm up to the sky. Lean over so that your left hip is resting against your wall. And you're going to keep your left hip pressing against the wall so that your hip never leaves the wall. Then reach up through your left fingertips and side bend over to the right side. This becomes intense really quick. So it's up to you to monitor how deeply you fold to the right. You can stay here with your right hand at your hip or reach up with your right hand, grab your left wrist and pull yourself more deeply if you want a little more intensity. Then roll your bottom right shoulder forward so that your chest points more evenly forward. Lift your chest, stretch. Good. Come all the way up. Release, press off the wall, shake your arms out. That stretch is surprisingly intense. So find the depth of intensity that feels good for you. Let's do the second side. So stand with your right side close to the wall, a few inches away. Reach your right arm up. Lean your right hip against the wall. Keep your right hip leaning against the wall. Reach up through your right fingertips and side bend away from your wall. You can keep your left hand at your left hip, or grab your right wrist and pull yourself more deeply into the side bend. Then roll your bottom left shoulder forward, lift your chest, stretch. Good. Come all the way up, press off the wall, shake it out. Okay, now you can continue to use the wall for this, or a back of a chair or a countertop will work as well. But this time, give yourself some space between your body and whatever it is that you're holding on to. So we're just using the wall or your chair for support. Bring a little bend to your knees. Then lift your right leg up, cross your right ankle over your left knee so that your legs are in a figure 4 position. And this may be deep enough. You can stay here or walk your hands further down the wall and bend more fully into your left leg. Then lift your right hip up, keep that right hip lifting, and press your left thigh down towards the mat. That's probably going to increase the intensity of the stretch, just bringing some stretch and openness, some mobility to your hips. Good. Come all the way up. Shake your legs out. And then let's do the other side. Hold on to your wall or your chair. Bring a little bend to your knees. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. You can stay here or maybe walk your hands a little further down. Then lift your left hip up so that your hips are more even and press your left knee down towards the ground without letting your left hip drop as best as possible. Awesome. Come up, shake it out. Okay, let's redo some of the standing poses that we did in the first class. So let's review our Warrior 2 pose. All right, step your feet wide. Remembering that we don't want to go any wider than about the distance of our wrists. So either ankles underneath your wrists or bring your feet in closer. Remembering that the shorter stance, so feet closer together, will feel more stable. And it also means that your front knee won't bend as deeply. So if you want less bend in your knee, then step your feet closer together. Then lift your chest. Let your shoulders release away from your ears. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. Ensure that your left foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat, and bend your left knee. Remember, we want to look down at our front knee and make sure it's over our front ankle and not way out in front of it. If it's out in front of it, shift your weight back. Good. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, let them release away from your ears. You can look over your right fingertips. Straighten your right leg. Turn your right toes in. Challenge yourself to keep your arms lifted this time. Turn your left toes out. Make sure that your outer right foot is parallel with the short edge of your mat. Tone your belly, lift your chest, bend your left knee. Look down, make sure your left knee is over your left ankle and not out in front of it. Lift your heart, roll your shoulders back, let them release away from your ears. You can look over your left fingertips. Good, straighten your left leg. Turn your left toes in, release your arms. Finally, walk your feet back together and shake them out. Okay, let's do tree pose. Again, it's our standing balancing pose. So if you want to go to a wall or hold on to a chair or a countertop, that would be great. Start with your feet in your Tadasana position, so either hip width distance or a little wider. Press your feet firmly into the mat. Then shift your weight just slightly over into your left leg. Bend your right knee and open your right knee to the side. Remembering you've got three options. Your right toes can remain on the mat. You can bring your right foot to your inner calf, or pick your foot up and place it on your inner thigh. Remembering we want to avoid putting any pressure on our knee in this sideways position. Then stand up tall and press firmly down through your left foot. Squeeze your right foot firmly against your left leg. Stand up tall. You can keep your hand on your wall or your support, or reach your arms up to the sky to work the balance. And our balance, we want some strength in our legs, but we don't want to become rigid. So our balancing poses will have some movement with them. So just notice if you're moving, it's fine. And if you fall out, that's fine too. Just get right back in. Holding it a little longer than last time. Whoops. And then you can come out or fall out when you're ready. Okay, shake your legs out. All right, let's do the second side. Starting in your Tadasana, feet hip width or wider. Shift your weight over onto your right leg so that your right leg is strong. Bend your left knee, open it to the side, and bring your left foot into your tree pose. Either toes remain on the ground, you can bring your foot to your calf or your inner thigh, remembering to avoid your knee. Stand strong in your right leg. Press down through your right foot. Actively press your left foot against your right leg. Pretend your right leg is the trunk of the tree, and remembering that trees do sway in the wind. You can keep your hands on your support or reach them up. So feel free to or you probably will have to let your tree move a little bit. That's fine. And as always, if you fall out of it, not a big deal. Just get right back in. Good, 2 more breaths. Release your hands, release your leg, and shake your legs out. All right, great. Let's do our wide-legged forward fold. And if you like to have some blocks underneath your hands in a forward fold, go ahead, grab your blocks and place them right in the middle of your mat. And then step your feet wide. Okay. This time, your feet will stay pointing in the same direction. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back. Hinge at your hips and fold. You can bring your hands down to blocks, remembering that your blocks have 3 heights. Or if you don't need the blocks, just set them to the side and bring your hands down to the mat. Release your head and neck. And then notice if you've got more weight in the front of your foot or in the back of your foot. And it can be really helpful to just rock front to back. To actively pour weight into the front, pour weight into the back, And then find a spot right in the center. Slow your rocking down where you've got even pressure through the front and back of your foot. And fold. Good. Straighten your arms, lengthen your spine. Bring your hands to your waist, roll your shoulders towards the sky, bring a little bend to your knees, press into your legs to lift you all the way up. And wiggle and walk your feet back together and shake them out. Okay, great. Set your blocks on either end of your mat so that your blocks will be behind your heels. We'll get to them in a minute, but we're just going to go ahead and get them set up. Okay, let's redo the side angle pose that we did in the last class. Step your feet wide. And I'm going to add on with a little bit of information about how to expand it. That's a good word. Okay, lift your chest. Spread your arms. Turn your right toes out. Remembering we start in Warrior Two in this pose. Make sure the outer edge of your left foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Lift your heart. And then bend your right knee. Glance down. Make sure your right knee is over your right ankle. Then take your right forearm to your right thigh, your left hand to your left hip. Make sure that your right knee hasn't crept forward. Good. All right. Also, make sure you're not collapsing into your right shoulder. Lift your chest. Okay, you can keep your left hand at your left hip or reach your left arm alongside your left ear. Then, like we did at the wall in that side bend, roll your top shoulder back to get more opening across the front of your chest. And then stretch from your left heel out through your left fingertips. Sit deep, reach out. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way up. Nice. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes out. Double check that your right foot is parallel to that short edge of your mat. Lift your heart. Spread your arms. Bend your left knee. Make sure your left knee is over your left ankle. So Warrior Two. And then we take that into side angle. Bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Now, make sure that your left knee stayed over your left ankle. Make sure you're not collapsing into your left shoulder. Lift your chest. You can keep your right hand at your waist or reach it alongside your ear. And then whether your arm is alongside your ear or at your waist, roll your top shoulder back. Lift your heart. And then stretch from your right heel out through your right fingertips. Awesome. Come all the way up. Turn your toes in. Walk your feet back together. Shake it out. Okay, let's do another new standing pose. This one's called triangle pose. And I am going to give you the option to use the blocks for this one. So again, that's why we have them on either side of our mat. All right, so step your feet wide. Lift your chest. We start with a similar foot position. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. Make sure your left foot is parallel to the back edge of your mat. Lift your heart. This time we keep our front right leg straight. Spread your arms wide. Reach forward through your right hand and lower it down so it just barely grazes the outside of your right leg. If that feels good, stay there. If you want to go a little deeper, lower your right hand down, grab your block, remembering your block has 3 heights. So I'm using the highest height on the outside of my right leg. Then, just like we didn't want to collapse into our forearm in the last pose, we don't want to collapse into our bottom hand in this pose either. So lift your chest, reach out through the crown of your head, stretch your left arm up to the sky. This is triangle pose. Great, bring a little bend to your right knee, press into your legs, come all the way up to standing. Turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Lift your chest, spread your arms. Again, we're going to keep our front leg straight. Reach forward through your left hand and lower it down so that it just grazes your outer leg. And again, you can stay there or reach down, grab your block, and bring your fingertips to the block. Good. Lift your chest without collapsing into your shoulder. So don't put all your weight on your left hand. Reach up and out through your right arm. Great. Come all the way up. Turn your left toes in. Lower your arms. Walk your feet back together and shake your legs out. All right, as luck would have it, we're going to do that one more time. Just one more time, though, so maybe that's good news. Okay, step your feet wide. Lift your heart. Turn your right toes out 90 degrees. Spread your arms. Reach forward, lower your right hand down, either so that it grazes your outer leg or comes down to your block. Now, press firmly into your legs. Reach up through your left fingertips and roll your shoulders back, particularly your top one, just like you did it in that side angle pose. So you've got more opening through your chest. Nice. One more big deep breath. Good. Come all the way up. Turn your right toes in. Maybe challenge yourself to keep your arms spread wide. Turn your left toes out. Lift your heart, but as you lift your heart, don't lift your shoulders with your heart. Let your shoulders release away from your ears. Reach forward, lower your left hand down either to your outer leg or to your block. Good. Remember, we're not collapsing or resting all of our weight on our left hand. So tone your belly, lift your chest, roll your top right shoulder back, and then stretch up through your right fingertips. Great. Come all the way up. Turn your toes in. Lower your arms. Walk your feet back together and shake your legs out. All right. We're going to do just one more standing pose. And this is a nice, tough quad burner type pose. It's a pose called Utkatasana, which means fierce pose. So you got to kind of bring some ferocity into the pose. All right. So stand with your feet hip width distance or wider. So find your Tadasana stance. Now, in just a moment, we're going to do the first one. We're doing more than one. We're going to do the first one with our hands at our hips and just focus on the legs. So watch first as you bend into your legs. And as always, it's up to you how deep you bend your knees. I'm going to ask you to glance down at your knees and make sure that they haven't collapsed in towards each other. This just isn't a great position for the knees over time. So we're going to stand nice and strong in our Tadasana and then bend our knees, ensuring that our knees continue to point out over our toes. We're going to get as deep as we can, tone our belly, and lift our chest. All right? Okay, let's do it. Shake your legs out. Get them ready. Maybe shake your arms out. Give yourself a big, deep breath. Okay, with your hands at your hips, find your Tadasana legs. Press your feet firmly into the mat. Roll your shoulders back. And then slowly begin to bend into your knees. Glance down. Make sure that your knees haven't collapsed in towards each other. So keep widening your knees apart. Maybe sit a little deeper. Tone your belly to help protect your low back. Lift your chest. And breathe. Awesome. Come all the way up. Shake your legs out. All right, we're going to do it just one more time. This time, I'm going to give you the option to reach your arms up. Again, completely optional. Okay. Start with your feet hip width distance. Press down firmly into your feet. Lift your chest. Tone your belly even now. That'll help protect your low back. There is a little bit of a back bend in this pose. And then slowly begin to bend into your knees. Glance down. Make sure your knees haven't collapsed towards each other. Keep them widening apart. Maybe sit a little deeper this time. Tone your belly back. Lift your chest. Keep your hands at your waist or reach them up to the sky. Keep your chest lifting. One more breath. Awesome. Come up. Release your arms down and shake it out. Beautiful. Take your blocks back to the front of your mat. Stand behind your blocks. Tadasana. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. You can release your hands down to your blocks. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Come up halfway. Remember, we don't want to jam our knees back when we do that, so keep your legs strong. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Once more, inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time, come up halfway, lengthen your spine, pause. Bring your hands to your waist. Roll your shoulders towards the sky, press into your legs, come up to standing, sweep your arms up, and exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Good. We're going to take that and make our way down to child's pose. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Release your hands to your blocks. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Then I like to lower my blocks. It's a little more stable. With your hands on your blocks, walk your feet back, lower your knees to the mat. And then you can set your blocks off to the sides. Remember, you have your blanket if you want some padding underneath your knees. Then walk your knees wide or close together. Remember, both options are perfect. Bring your hips back to your heels and lower your forehead down, either to the ground or to your blocks. And take a moment to rest. All right, inhale, come back up to your tabletop. If your knees are wide, walk them back underneath you. All right, as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin, look up. Exhale, round your back, release your head and neck down. 2 more times, cat-cow. Drop your belly, lift your chin, look up. Exhale, round your back, release your head and neck. Once more, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Good. Inhale, come back to just a regular tabletop position. Look down at your hands. Make sure that you've got some space between your hands and some space between your fingers. Then walk your knees back behind your hips a little bit. Lower your hips until your knees, your hips, and your shoulders are in one long line. So this is like a half plank pose. Tone your belly, press the ground away from you. Let's take 2 breaths here. You're doing a great job. You've done lots of strength building poses today. Good, and then slowly lower all the way down to the mat and rest. You can bring one cheek to the ground or rest your forehead on the mat. All right, we're not quite done yet with some strength building poses. So reach your arms along your sides, palms face up. Bring your forehead to the mat if it's not there already. Then press your 10 toenails down into the mat. And when you do that, you may feel that tones your thigh muscles and lifts your kneecaps a little bit. Then keep your fingernails pressing lightly into the mat. Lift your shoulders towards the sky. Lift your head and chest. It takes a lot of work in your upper back muscles to lift your heart. Beautiful. Exhale, release back down. We're going to do that again and add a little bit of a variation. So take a breath. All right, place your forehead on the mat. Press the tops of your feet, your toenails into the mat. Feel what that does to your legs. Lightly press your fingernails down. Lift your shoulders actively towards the sky. Lift your head and chest up. Keep your legs strong, the tops of your feet pressing down, and then hover your hands up away from the mat and squeeze your shoulders up towards the sky. One more breath. And then exhale, release all the way back down. Nice. Okay, prop yourself up onto your form so that your forearms are supporting the lift of your chest. Even here, press the tops of your feet down so your legs have some tone and strength in them. Then, fold your right forearm in front of you to help you keep your chest lifting and bend your left knee. And you may find that that's enough of a stretch in your left thigh. If that is, great. If you want more, reach back with your left hand and pull your left heel in closer towards your left hip. Okay, release. Let's switch sides. Fold your left forearm in front, bend your right knee. If that's enough, stay there. Or reach back, grab your right foot, pull it in closer. And then release. Lower your forehead back down to the mat. This time, place your hands flat on the mat alongside your chest. Just like we did in tabletop, bring a little space between your fingers. Then press the tops of your feet firmly into the mat.
Lift your shoulders up away from this mat and squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other on your back. Then hover your hands off the mat. Keep your legs strong
and lift your head and chest off the mat. And breathe. Good. Lower all the way back down. Rest. We've got just one more of those. It's really great strengthening poses for your upper back.
Okay, bring your forehead to the mat. Press the tops of your feet firmly down. Roll your shoulders towards the sky. Hover your hands up away from the ground. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Keep your legs strong.
Inhale, lift your head and chest up. 2 more breaths. Awesome. Exhale, release all the way back down. Let's do one more child's pose. So peel yourself up off the mat. Knees, again, can be wide or close together. And press your hips back towards your heels. Let your forehead rest down, either to the mat or to a block. And take a couple breaths. Great. Walk your hands in, lift your chest up. Shift your hips to one side and swing your legs around to come to seated. And remember, like to sit up on our blanket when we're seated. We're going to do a few seated forward folds here. So, sitting up onto your blanket, or 2 blankets, whatever you need. Hips on the blanket, legs out in front of it. Bring the soles of your feet together. You can adjust here, take your feet further away or bring them in closer to a position that feels good. Then press your heels against each other and sit up nice and tall. If this feels good, stay upright. If you'd like to fold, slowly hinge at your hips and lower your chest down towards your feet. Walk your hands in, lift your chest up. Keep your right leg folded in and straighten your left leg. And just let the sole of your right foot rest against your left thigh. Point your left toes to the sky so your left ankle is flexed. Sit up tall. Of course, you can stay upright. Or reach your arms up. Reach up, reach forward and fold, and then just grab whatever's available, whether you rest your hands on your shin, on the ground, or grab your foot and release your head and neck down. Inhale, look up, and then exhale, release, and switch sides. Straighten your right leg, fold your left leg in so your left foot presses against your inner right thigh. It's kind of like a seated tree pose. Then, of course, you can stay upright or reach your arms up, reach forward, and fold, and then just grab what you can. Shin or the floor of your foot, release your head and neck. Inhale, look up, and exhale, release. All right, we're going to lie down onto our back. So just like in the last class, you will need a block. Remember, if you don't have a block, a blanket will work for this as well. So lie down. And bend your knees. Bring the soles of your feet flat to the mat. Then lift your hips up and slide your block or your blanket underneath your hips. And let your hips rest on your prop so that the prop is fully supporting the weight of your hips. Find a place that feels good for your hands to rest. I'm going to give you a couple other options today. Of course, you can stay here if this feels good. The next option is to straighten your legs forward along the ground. It gives a big stretch to the front side of your body. And your third option is to take your legs straight up to the sky. It's a little supported inversion. So we'll be here for a few moments, a few breaths. So feel free to pick one of those to spend the time in, or you could spend a few breaths in all three. If your legs are straight, where you bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the mat. And lift your hips up, remove your prop, and lower your hips back down. Okay. With your knees bent, cross your right ankle over your left knee. Again, you can stay right here or thread your arms through and clasp behind your left thigh or your left shin. Good. Release your legs, uncross them, and switch sides. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Again, you can stay here or hug your legs in. Remembering that you don't have to choose the same option on this side that you chose on the first side. Sides of our body are often quite different in these asymmetrical poses, and so you might need or want to do something a little different on this side. Great. Release, uncross your legs, hug your knees into your chest. You can add some movement here. Maybe rock a little side to side or front to back, or swing your knees in circles. Then spread your arms wide like a T and lower your bent knees to the right to twist. Remembering you do have the option to slide your block or your blanket underneath your bottom right knee or even in between your knees. And bring your knees back to center and lower them to the other side. And bring your knees back to center. One final time, hug your knees into your chest. You're going to add a little movement. And then let's prepare to rest. Remember, you can lie flat on your back. But you also have the option to add your props underneath you, maybe your blanket under your knees or your head. Or maybe bend your knees or keep your knees bent. And there's no right or wrong placement for your arms or legs, so find place, whether that's close to your body or far away, that feels good. Let your breath begin to soften. Release any lingering effort or tension in your body. And for the next few moments, just rest. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. can bring small movements back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes or roll your wrists and ankles. Feel free to reach your arms overhead for a full body stretch. Bend your knees. Roll to one side. Use your hands to press yourself up to seated. Take the time to set up your support, your blanket underneath you. And sit up tall. Bring your palms together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. Again, we'll end with our invocation of peace. Sanskrit word for peace is Shanti. When we say together, Om Shanti, 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 we're asking for peace for ourselves, family and our community, and for the world as a whole. So take a big, full, deep breath in with me. And together we say, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Begin to rub your palms together, generating some heat between them. Gently cup your palms over your eyes. Blink your eyes open and release your hands down. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today.